I'm Jacquire King, and I'm here with my friend Dawson. We're here at 610 Studios in Santa Cruz. We are going to mic a piano today. We're going to probably get into a few different techniques. We've got the SP1, which is a small pair of pencil condensers, and then the SD1 as well, just as an optional choice. We've got a simple, like, sort of drum loop track that we've put together, and we're going to kind of work out a piano arrangement, make a demo of a tune we want to put together, and then yeah, get into some different miking techniques. So let's set up some mics and get to recording. Let's get out the SP1s.
Okay.
So we're going to start out with what is a fairly common technique for miking acoustic piano, especially when you're in a room where there's multiple players and there's some other activity going on. You kind of want to get a little bit of isolation. The top is open and we're going to place the mics just slightly inside, and so this front panel is going to give us a little bit of isolation from the room. Oftentimes I like to think about and observe where the parts are being played on the piano, and then I kind of adjust where I'm placing the mics accordingly. You can put them in very standard places, but then you might be missing some of the sort of hot spots or the more favorable places. So we'll get the mics on the stands and then we'll get some placement going. So I'm just going to do a little bit of listening as he's playing. I'm going to observe where his hands are and kind of the range of the parts, because that's, it's going to kind of tell me, how wide I might want to put these. So I'm going to place the mics just a little bit outside of where he's actually playing, just to kind of give myself a little bit more separation. So that's going to look something like this. Now, in this particular case, because he's not singing and we don't have other people in the room, I'm not going to bury the mics in there too much. I kind of want to just give myself a little bit of air and development, because also, down in this space, we're getting reflective sound and kind of getting an accumulation. It's not going to kill anything, and it's far better to push them down in there and get the isolation, but I don't have to, so I'm not going to. If you play a little bit for me, I'm just going to set the gain.
All right.
Cool. I decided to put a little bit of LA2A in there just to kind of...
Cool. Yeah, I can tames it a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm just going to record a little bit of this out in space, just to so I can listen back and just sort of see what we're sounding like.
Cool.
Thanks. So I'm just recording out in space so that I can kind of listen back without hearing the piano in the room. This is sort of the reality probably many of you face, is just you're in an environment where you're recording all in one room, so you need to not have what's going on in the room to accurately hear the playback. I think we're sounding really nice, and my feeling after kind of listening back is the tone is really beautiful, but the stereo separation is not quite as much as I'd like to have, so I'm just going to space the mics out just a little bit more to see if that changes that for me. So that feels better to me. I'm also getting a little bit less of the mid-tone, and the microphones are combining less in that area. Ready?
I am ready.
So for this section of the song that we're going to drop in, there's a pedal here that allows us to drop some felt in front of the hammers, and it softens it. And you'll be able to see on our next pass what's actually happening. But we're going to drop in on that C section there. Okay, so now we're just going to move on to another recording technique. So we're going to pull this front off, and I'm going to show you sort of a different way to approach this type of miking, but it's going to give us a little bit of a variation. Would you take that?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. What this allows you to do is, you know, the soundboard is vertical, and so the sound is mostly, I mean, it emanates everywhere, obviously, but you're going to kind of get a different sort of harmonic texture and richness coming straight off of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this miking technique, basically almost the same placement, and we're just going to kind of drop them in here. These in position and have a chat. This will also kind of give us a little bit more of a percussive sound. It's going to clear up. It's going to clear up because we don't have this sort of boxed-in sound. We're getting closer to the hammers, and you know, we are getting a little bit of distance from the soundboard, so it's going to kind of open the sound up just a little bit as well. Another thing that's happening is that I'm able to actually move these a little bit wider, especially over here on the low end, because we don't have as much buildup. And you know, as we also observe in the way that I'm having to change things, the gain came up quite a bit. But then it was too much, and the compressor wasn't reacting in the same way as it was previously. It's just because the frequency buildup is different, and so the color of it is different, and so I have to change my settings accordingly. And are you ready?
I'm ready.
Having my choice between these two techniques, if it's just solo piano and he's not singing, I prefer this. It's a little bit more open, a little richer sounding, because we're getting the sound coming off the soundboard, and there's no reinforcement from the front.
Yeah.
But what we are missing in this, it's beautiful, but we are missing a little bit of the sort of tougher guts sound that we had with the other miking technique, just simply because of the physical aspects of it. So let's add a microphone so that we can keep this really beautiful sound that we have, but we can add in something of interest that we can maybe beat up a little bit, maybe put a little distortion or effect on. So you might be wondering why I added a compressor in when the sound is somewhat kind of muted. It doesn't have a lot of, you're not going to get a lot of the hammers and the real transient stuff, but it's also very quiet back there, or much quieter. So I brought the gain of the API back down, and I've introduced an 1176, which is a great device for gain, and it's also useful in terms of a little bit of compression. Also had to engage the polarity switch because it's seeing the piano from the other side. Shall we record one more time?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. What this is giving us is kind of
it's the best of both worlds in terms of the two techniques that I've already shown you, in that we have this more open sound, but because I've put a mic behind it, I can blend in how much of that I want, and I could do some things like I'm going to put the raw pedal on it, and then maybe also follow that up with a delay of some sort, and then so we can kind of add some texture and toughness in there. You can really just do anything you wanted to. Thank you very much, Dawson.
Yeah, no problem.
The playing felt great, and I really like the parts.
Thanks.
One of the big takeaways I'd like to sort of emphasize here is that these techniques require a little bit of listening adjustment, factoring into what your recording environment is, what your outcome, how you want that to be. Showing you that you can add a microphone for color and excitement, and just what the different options are. Hopefully that's helpful. Dawson and I are going to clean this up a little bit. It'll be available for you to download and sort of check out this demo session and be able to listen to the 3 different techniques and experiment with putting your own plugins on the SD1 microphone behind the piano. Peace and be well.